push through that type of environment. And then if that is the case, and you fast forward to where we are now, look at our incredibly competitive, hyper kind of aggressive culture that we have, it would make sense that this was formed through the seeds of trauma and through the seeds of having to fight for survival and,
yes.
Recovering what was lost.
Yes, which also makes sense why the past, the further you go back, the more barbaric these people are. So you're dealing, and you're like, well, it took a while for people to learn, maybe, but maybe you're dealing with people that had to. They probably had to cannibalize. Mm-hmm. I mean, they probably had to eat everything they could. There was only a few thousand of them left. I mean, if we really got hit by asteroids, like if the Younger Dryas is correct, it makes sense that it would take like 5,000 years for civilization to emerge again.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be what happened. It seems to be like you have literally the scraggliest survivors, and then eventually the Earth gets back to normal. But even then, it takes thousands of years for people to just have a semblance of what we're experiencing today in terms of civilization.
And that's why prehistory is so fascinating, and the Neolithic and the Stone Age. Because, okay, so this is a time when we were just basic hunter-gatherers. We had no, intelligence, no language, no real understanding of the world, according to the mainstream. But this is where you have multi-ton, geodetically aligned solar equinox and what's the lunar alignment? I've completely just blanked just because I'm a little bit nervous of being on here. But like equinox alignment and like alignments to the sun and the moon, mathematically, geodetically aligned to what look like telluric currents, like electromagnetic flows beneath the ground. A lot of these stone henges and dolmens are placed on places where you have strong electromagnetic concentrations, and just the package of mathematics and engineering and stone crafting and the knowledge of the sun and the stars and your placement on the planet to create things like Stonehenge and these other areas in the world. How can you do that if you're just hunter-gatherers coming out of animalistic behavior? It doesn't make any sense. And then we kind of regress as we go further into history, and the stonework becomes less impressive, the things become less accurate. And I find that very interesting. How is it at the beginnings of our history some of the most impressive structures exist?
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense.